Activists and lawmakers are facing off with a major pharmaceutical company over the growing price of a revolutionary HIV drug. Truvada is manufactured by Gilead Sciences and helps prevent HIV transmission in high-risk populations. The drug is more commonly known as PrEP, or pre-exposure prophylaxis. The groundbreaking medication does not come cheap. The cash price for a 30-day supply costs around $1,700. Last month, House lawmakers pressed the drug company's CEO about the high price here in the U.S. compared to other countries.
So the list price is almost $2,000 in the United States. Why is it $8 in Australia?
Truvada still has patent protection in the United States, and in the rest of the world it is generic. I can't comment on the price in Australia of the generic medicines, but it is generically available in other parts of the world and will be generically available in the United States as of September in 2020 based upon...
Emily Sanderson is a national organizer with the Student Global AIDS Campaign and a co-founder of PrEP for All. The group is working to lower the price of Truvada. Emily, thank you so much for being with us. You know, we just heard Gilead CEO there talking about the patent, right? And how that's the reason that it's so expensive here compared to other places. He said the patent, though, will expire in 2020. Does that mean then a generic version will be available?
Another version will come to market, but we really we can't have one generic drug available. We need generic competition to really reduce the cost of PrEP the way it should be.
And why then is it so much more expensive here than the rest of the world?
Well, in the United States, we don't have our government doesn't control pharmaceutical companies, doesn't regulate them in the way that some other countries do. And so what happened is basically U.S. taxpayer money invested all of this funding into the development of PrEP so that we know that it can be used as an HIV prevention drug. And then Gilead came in and bought the patent and started charging $2,000 a month for it.
So Gilead's argument that it spent nearly $6 billion on research then, you say is false because You're saying that they just bought the patent from the U.S. government.
Yeah, if anything, all that Gilead did was donate some drugs to the, so the study could happen in the first place. But the research was done with U.S. taxpayer money.
Now, there have been times in the past when activists have targeted drug companies successfully, correct? With the previous version of this drug, or was it a different drug?
Well, since the very beginning of the AIDS crisis, activists have been fighting for the reduced cost of drugs. It was the only AIDS drug that was available at first was $10,000 per person per year, which is incredibly out of reach for everyone. And now we're talking about upwards of $20,000 a year for people who want to access PrEP. So it's the same fight. It's just a different company, a different drug.
And tell us a little bit about how this groundbreaking drug works. It's preemptive, correct?
Yeah. So I think about it like birth control. You take it once a day. It's 99% effective at preventing new HIV transmissions.
And so because it's so expensive, then who is largely consuming it at the moment?
In the United States, we see, so a better way to think about it might be that the only new HIV infection rates are being reduced in white gay men mostly, but we're seeing the same rates or increasing rates among Black or Latino gay men. And then the CDC doesn't even track new HIV transmission rates in transgender women.
So those risk groups that you just mentioned, are they taking this drug? Is this drug available to them, or is it largely out of their price range?
It's largely out of reach. Gilead has a copay assistance program that they argue closes that gap. But really, in order to access that copay assistance program, you have to be able to navigate our healthcare system, which I'm sure you know is very hard.
Right. Now, let's talk about the current administration, because President Trump has also, on one hand, he's vowed to end the HIV crisis by, I believe, 2030.
Yes.
He's also taken on pharmaceutical companies, or said he wants to take on pharmaceutical companies. Has he thrown any support behind your movement?
No. When he is targeting transgender rights, gay rights, Black and brown people, and we know that those people are at the front lines of this epidemic, and any stigma is going to negatively harm the HIV epidemic and make it harder for them to get drugs and care that they need safely.
So because of the administration's stance on the LGBTQ community, you don't see any help coming out of this administration for your separate fight to lower the cost of this drug?
No. What needs to happen is that the CDC needs to enforce the patents that they have on PrEP, and so that we can dramatically reduce the cost of PrEP to list price of like $6 a month for production or $15 a month maximum.
And how's it going? I mean, we did see, the CEO, Daniel O'Day, there being grilled by lawmakers. So how is the fight progressing?
PrEP for All has been doing a lot of work to make sure that we are holding Gilead Sciences accountable, the CDC accountable. We will not stop until this drug is accessible to everyone who needs it.
All right, Emily Sanderson, we wish you luck. Thank you so much for coming to see us.
Thanks so much.